use the word emergency for the first time in about...
This is Jim, and,
Receiving this message. We are Ken Jennings and John Roderick. We speak to you from our present, which we can only assume is your distant past, the turbulent time that was the early 21st century.
Fearing the great cataclysm that will surely befall our civilization, we began this monumental reference of strange and obscure human knowledge. These recordings represent our attempt to compile and preserve wonders and esoterica that would otherwise be lost.
So whether you're listening from an advanced civilization or have just reinvented the technology to decrypt our transmissions, this is our legacy to you.
This is our time capsule. This is the Omnibus. You have accessed entry 551.PR1004, certificate number 31682. Grit.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! Life story of Playboy Penny! Extra, extra!
Boy, I'm back, and I hardly even left.
It seems like when you arrived today, this wasn't even the longest that we've gone between doing episodes.
No, it's been, like in our timeline, it's been about a month since our live show. Is that right?
No, not even.
Less?
Less. Yeah, no, it's been...
Yeah, we skip 3 weeks all the time if I'm out of town or
Yeah,
something.
we do.
So I just showed up and I'm like, wait, it's like Groundhog Day.
I know.
Did I dream the part where I left Omnibus?
I know, and you really seemed... There was a look of great disappointment
Horror.
on your face. You were like, ugh, I'm back.
It's like having a dream where you're in high school, you know? And at some point in the dream, you're like, no, wait, I graduated and have a wife and family. Why am I here? John, why am I here?
What's weird is
Did I die?
You showed up
Did I get-
naked and on a school bus, and I couldn't understand.
I think I got hit by a truck at some point, and this is my afterlife. I just record incoherent podcasts for eternity.
I've got you, babe.
The reason why we wanted me to come back is, first of all, because like there is a guest host rotation, and
That's right.
I'm a guest host.
You are.
But I'm still on Omnibus. I love it.
Also, you love doing Omnibus, as you said multiple times under duress.
When I was trying to pump up those Patreon numbers, boy, do I love Omnibus. No, I actually do miss it. I was nostalgic for it, even though we didn't really give me much of a chance to miss it by bringing me back 3 weeks later.
But it feels like a big transition's happened.
Well, especially for you, because you've been doing all these shows with other guest hosts, which have been going great, by the way.
Thank you.
I've been enjoying them.
Thank you.
But I wanted to come back because this week...
Because you wanted to do better. You wanted to show them how it's done.
I was like, these guys are fine, but...
Watch the master.
This is the 8th anniversary of Omnibus this
Isn't
week.
that incredible?
I didn't want to miss our anniversary show.
8 hours. Think of all the travails.
Did
all
you
the
say
ups
8
and
hours?
downs. 8 hours.
And that's just that show about spam.
Was that our longest show?
No, I don't know what
Okay,
the longest show
all right.
is. What
yeah.
show seemed like 8 hours? I don't know. You tell us. Sound off in the comments.
I saw some comments from people that attended our live show where they were like, wait, they're so old.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were like, John's completely gray, but in the thumbnail, which is my only knowledge of him, he's got a salt and pepper beard.
But we were under very bright lights. I think somebody was like, wow, they must dye Ken's hair on TV because he still looks blonde on TV. But here he looked like white-haired Andy Griffith.
I forgot to mention it at the show, but if you recall, I dressed all in sort of neutral kind of sand colors. And it's because I really wanted you to pop on stage.
You didn't know what I was going to wear, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, you dress like a grunge rocker.
I guess, yeah. I might have worn this shirt. Who knows?
Yeah. No, I think the one that you wore was red.
The
but
red one.
I really leaned into the fact that you and I are both the color of windblown sand and just put on an outfit of sand. And I think it looks pretty good online, but a couple of people called me like Colonel Sanders, which I was like, come on.
But you just wanted to go to the planet Arrakis and just blend in.
That's right.
To the dunes.
I believe that the future apocalypse means that we will all kind of have white dreadlocks and we'll like live in a shrimp farming community.
Doesn't that kind of happen in a lot of movies?
All
Like
of them.
you go to the future and it's a guy with white dreads and he's the king of the future.
Yeah,
Or
white dreads.
He's the head of the city council of the future.
And all their clothes are made of burlap, and it's kind of a socialist economy. It is like it's a future trope, and I think it might have started with The Matrix, maybe The Matrix 2.
Are you imagining a black guy with white dreads or a white, like, do you mean
Doesn't
white
matter.
to mean Caucasian dreads, or do you mean like
Doesn't matter.
distinguished silvery?
Everyone
Dread.
has white dreads because that's
all
a
races.
symbol of like of wisdom and integrity.
I mean, not in white people, is it?
In the future,
Well, just walking around today, if you saw a black guy with white dreads, you'd be like, I bet this guy
would
could
be
tell me
like,
some stories.
yeah.
This guy seems great.
Irie,
But if
Ja
you-
Rastafari.
But if you saw an old white guy with white dreads, you'd be like, I hope he's not getting on my bus.
No, but I would know for sure his whole life story.
Yeah, you've probably met him before.
Yeah.
If it's in Seattle, you'd be like, hey, Jerry, what's up?
I was in St. John a few years ago and encountered this older black man with these incredible white dreads, like the most white dreads. They went down to his knees. They were just like the fundamental ones. And he was being treated on this, like just kind of, I was walking around the town and I saw him a couple of times interacting with people. He was being treated with such respect and deference. I believed that he was a king, the king of St. John's. And I wanted to stop and talk to him, but I was not invited.
Maybe they just have the natural effect of like everyone treats you like that when you have amazing
I think so.
silvery
That's
dreads.
what science fiction tells us.
You've been cheating on me with a bunch of other nerds, right?
I have.
I thought I'd find like one earring when I sat down here. Or
No,
something.
they're all virtual nerds. They're spread all around the world. There was a woman in Edinburgh.
You got Midwestern nerds up in here.
Yeah, someone from Ontario.
Is that why you wanted me to come back? Please, somebody from an American city.
Please, someone speak with a normal accent. Well, what's funny is, at the time that this show is airing, there have been, 4 shows, I think, or 3 or 4?
Yeah.
3. But what Futurelings don't realize is that in the run-up to our final show, I recorded like 10 episodes of the new show with new guest hosts, but none of those guest hosts had ever heard a show recorded by a guest host.
Post me.
Right.
Yeah.
And so each one of them felt like they were the first.
The guinea pig. Because they kind of were.
They were, each one. And so, a lot of them kind of made it. The shows had a similarity, which was the first thing was they were shocked to see me on their computers. And then they were like, I know how this show sounds. And I'm now
I'm now responsible for doing it.
Yeah.
What a weird thing.
And that's
It's
going to
like karaoke.
It's going to be true all the way through January.
Yeah, people are going to listen for weeks or months even to shows that you recorded in a very quick burst while you were still figuring this out.
Right.
But they're pretty good shows. I think.
They're all amazing. Every single person was incredible, but none of them have had the benefit of hearing a single instance where someone else, another futureling, had been the guest host. And I think after these shows have aired, or the guest host shows have aired, subsequent co-hosts will be like, oh, I've seen this done.
And you're still figuring stuff out too, right?
Oh,
You'll be
yeah.
like, here's how the process works. If there's sound issues, you know what to do.
Even right this minute, as we're recording, for some reason, my computer is recording me in stereo and flipped. So there are 2 versions of me, and they're mirror images of each other. I don't know why. I don't know what button I pushed.
Is it going to sound different to picky-eared audiophiles?
Who knows? Literally, who knows? Every single time there is some kind of technology issue, and every single time my co-host looks at me and laughs, looks at me in their own camera and is like, boy, if I were there, I could troubleshoot that for you.
Right, because they're all highly paid engineers.
Yeah, every one of them.
And they're dealing with you.
They at least know how to use their computer. And I'm like, I don't know.
I like how the first guy did the most John show possible. It was people taking a canoe to Alaska.
Yeah.
Like he was like, oh, I know what Omnibus is about. It's about people taking a canoe to Alaska.
Oh, I don't think you will be surprised at the number of shows that are about a World War II airplane or a Cold War like space system. I mean, it's the first 10 are pretty good.
It's time to push the envelope, guest hosts. Like, we could just let John do 10 shows about World War II aircraft.
I saw a great comment on the Reddit where somebody said, wait a minute.
Hey, I want
the
to
thing
thank
about
you
the
for all
guest
the hard
hosts
work you've
is
been
they're all
doing
going to
this
try
last
and do this well.
month. You've
But
just
Ken
been,
and John didn't always try and do it well.
They clearly were never trying.
It's
Some
been
of their
a
shows
lot,
were just
I
like,
know.
I saw a pebble,
But I think
or
we're in a really
the
good
letter J.
position.
Like,
Some people might react,
Like we
might
put all
prefer
that work in, but
yeah, I think.
I would love that
for
if
like
everyone's
2
like,
months
thank goodness Ken left, so the show could actually
of
get to
time
that
and-
next level
But,
of
you know-
people knowing things and caring.
and,
people knowing things, right? But as you famously said, your original
The
adage
response
for
to the
doing Omnibus was,
shows has been really positive.
we're eventually going to do everything. So don't
on.
apply any standards to the topics
Thanks, buddy.
because we'll get to the letter J eventually.
Yeah,
Why not do it now?
You don't have to cherry pick,
Yeah.
right? Then the second guy, I think, the second guest host did a very me-coded guest show. Like, why did I have to leave to do a show about Jack Kirby's disappearing artwork? I mean, boy, I was probably talking about that to myself the same day you were recording.
I'm pretty convinced you have some of Jack Kirby's missing artwork in your desk drawer.
I actually know somebody who has like TV and movie money, and he has a ton of great Kirby pages.
Whoa.
But I think they're all like legit, bought at auction, known. Yeah. He doesn't have stuff like that he stole from the Marvel Comics offices in 1970.
They weren't looted by the Nazis and sold in a Swiss, or kept in a Swiss account.
That would be weird.
It would be.
Time traveling Nazis.
Have you never read the science fiction novels that my dad loved in the 1970s about time traveling Nazis?
I think, yeah, that's all. That's what all dads were reading. Then it turned into alternate histories where it was like time traveling, like slaveholders. That's what replaced time traveling Nazis.
Or like hard-bitten Boston detectives with like one bald black friend.
It doesn't. That's just Spencer. It does imply at some point we will have time traveling MAGA dad fiction.
Oh, well, the number of alternate theories of history now that can be novelized, I mean...
Yeah, there's no need for real history anymore.
No, exactly. Oh, and how can we even distinguish real history from fake?
I may have ill-chosen today's topic, although we have to do everything, because because that great... Listeners will have just heard that great Jack Kirby show a couple weeks ago. And we just did the Comics Code Authority as a request a couple months ago, right?
You're just going right back into comics.
This is comic adjacent. It's not super comic booky. We don't have to discuss anybody's superpowers.
Okay.
No pulp heroes, reporter girlfriends.
Okay, good.
None of that. But it is a little bit about baby boomer and Gen X childhood culture, which I'm sure we've never talked about on the show before.
No, never.
Even though you have an old-timey chemistry set
I do.
sitting right there. that I
Radio
think-
Shack Science
Do
Fair.
you have time traveling my dad delivering you stuff from his bedroom in the 50s?
What's great is the kid is actually wearing a short sleeve plaid button-down shirt, and he has like a severe part in his black hair.
The funny thing is I didn't notice either of those things because I still dress like that.
Yeah.
To me,
you
I'm
do.
just like, look, a normal guy.
Yeah.
Is that a mirror?
You look just like that kid. Well, I always am quick to point out that boomer childhood culture was forced upon Gen X children.
Yes.
Because they stopped making any content for children because they forgot that children existed.
Until Star Wars, we had nothing.
Yeah. From 1969. Oh, no, they had Sesame Street, right? And then I guess
That's
the
true.
Electric Company. But other than that, like all of our
I
cartoons.
like your grudging edition of the
Yeah,
Electric Company.
the Electric Company. I liked it. I loved it. But,
Love the Electric Company.
But yeah, all we got as kids was Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers and Leave It to Beaver and all that crap, like the Mickey Mouse show stuff from 15 years before.
The baby boom cultural dominion started immediately.
Yeah.
It was not like, in middle age, they were like, oh, we should start bringing back this stuff. No, they just kept it going.
I think one reason I resent the millennials is that when they were kids, they started big media.
They got SpongeBob.
Yeah, they started making whatever Rugrats or whatever, new, what seemed like really screamy, whiny cartoons, but they were new. And it was always like baby Muppets and baby Warner Brothers. But I was like, why do these kids get new cartoons? Well, I'm still watching cartoons from 1947.
Why was there a 40-year cartoon gap?
Yeah.
Yeah, this should be a a conspiracy theory.
Well, it's certainly another one where another piece of media where Gen X is bitching.
Well, I was considering how this story is based. I'm going to tell a story that's basically unchanged from the end of World War II through the end of my childhood. And it's in line with what you were saying. You know, American childhood kind of froze for several decades. Did you ever, do you have this, and this is big enough that it's now kind of spawned its own culture and it's remembered. We don't have the chainsaw. We were afraid we were going to have a chainsaw going.
All morning, there's been a guy right down on the other side of my ravine just wailing on a chainsaw. And I was like, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to be that guy. Like, hey, guy.
Plus he's armed.
Turn off your chainsaw. Well, I've got a chainsaw. I could meet him in the street.
That's what we should have. Every omnibus we should record after it when you're still kind of sweaty from a chainsaw duel. Sweaty and or bloody.
But then the guy quit just minutes ago. So it's...
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Do you remember these goofy mail order ads that targeted American children for decades?
Do I? I mean, I got ripped off a few times.
Oh, did you buy the stuff?
I mean, sea monkeys. We all got sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys. That's the one that people somehow remember. Like it somehow made it into zines and punk rock covers.
Yeah, because they all this. Well, yeah, because they were kind of sexy, right? The picture of the sea monkeys, they were a little bit sort of sexy.
How come no matter what the show is about, you just start talking about how sea monkeys are sexy?
Sea monkeys are so sexy.
I'm like, John, we're talking about the 100 Years War.
I was on the Joko cruise, and those sea monkeys were less sexy.
That's what they call the passengers, right?
Yeah, that's right. But
did you order them? The sea monkeys?
Did, and then the sea monkeys are just brine shrimp, and I didn't do it right, and they died. And then the sea monkey jar where I had them became like a gross,
slime.
Yeah, slime. And I was so mortified. That's not sexy. Dead sea monkey slime.
Well, I think some people may not remember this, but in the mid 20th century, an American entrepreneur named Harold von Braunhut, and there's a story there. Harold von Braunhut realized he could market brine shrimp to children if he lied to them. So for decades, whatever children's publication you had, Boys Life magazine or Junior Scholastic or Superman comics or Richie Rich comics or whatever you had, would have ads for a family of kind of sexy underwater Smurfs.
But they had crowns. They were wearing, mom and dad had crowns.
They weren't commoners. You were going to order apparently the king of the sea monkeys. Yeah. And they had clothes, but as you point out, not enough.
Yep,
and it appeared they had hobbies. Sometimes they'd be playing the ukulele, or the kids would have toys or something.
Yeah, you really expected a lot when you ordered the brine shrimp.
Yeah, a little alien family.
That's right.
Would come live in your fish tank, and of course they were brine shrimp.
Brine shrimp, not exciting, weird, in fact.
And I never sent away from them. The story
you could also get X-ray specs.
Well, that's the same guy. That's Harold von Braunhut again.
But the other thing I bought was the huge collection of Army Men.
Okay, that's a famous one.
I played with Army Men, and this was 500 Army Men in a suitcase.
Yeah, it would be hundreds of these Army guys.
I was like, this is going to change my life.
And it's $1.95.
Yeah.
And you get it, and what's the reveal here?
They're tiny.
And they're flat.
They're tiny, flat, and worthless.
Often they're just stamped out of sheets.
Yeah.
So
disappointing.
So everything you got from these was disappointing. The sea monkeys were just brine shrimp. The X-ray specs were just an optical illusion where a feather would be put between would be pressed between two panes of whatever it was, whatever cheap plastic or glass it was. And the veins of the feather would diffuse the light. So when you looked at somebody, it would kind of have that, that kind of blurry camera effect where the edges of something get diffuse.
Yeah.
So there'd be a darker shape in the center of whatever you were looking at backlit.
Yeah, we call that the penthouse effect.
Yeah.
It's the Vaseline around the lens
except it's not just smeary. It's also the light is kind of blown out.
Oh yeah.
So it's there's a dark core in whatever you're looking at.
Right.
And I guess that gives the impression of an X-ray. But if you were buying them hoping to see girls.
Yeah. See through your aunt's blouse.
First of all, what an awful pervy thing to just sell to America's fine, upstanding.
Well, that's why I never ordered the X-ray specs, because I was a kid governed by a moral code. If you had offered me like ability to stop time, I would have done that.
But you wouldn't do anything that would break your moral code?
No, the thing about stopping time that I wanted is I always wanted to take a nap during the day.
I thought you were going to sneak into locker rooms.
No. It didn't even occur to me to like rob a bank. I just wanted to stop time so that I could take an hour-long nap and then come back and not have missed any class.
Nobody would know.
Nobody would yell at me.
Did you put this together that maybe you would age? You know, if you did that every day, your life gets 1/24th shorter.
Didn't occur to me at all. Any of the downsides.
What about now? Am I alarming you?
Well, it really, until you mentioned that, it didn't occur to me. I assume that you would also stop time
for you
in aging, except you'd be awake. I think it was more like put everybody to sleep, and then I could go to sleep.
So everybody's aging faster, but you're. I guess you're the only one that experiences.
I think I was 20 before it occurred to me. Wait, you could just walk into any bank.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, that's like got an evil side. And it's not just about taking naps.
There's a whole Nicholson Baker novel about how evil it is, I think.
Yeah.
Except he does it for like, he does like pervy things. It's like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not good.
Go into the girls' locker room. But, having been into a girls' locker room, ho-hum.
Oh, is that right?
Well, it's just a bunch of girls.
Oh, I thought you went at like 2 a.m. when it was empty.
Oh, no. I mean,
You're just admiring the lockers.
It was the 80s. There were pranks. There were pranks everywhere.
The thing about the X-ray specs and the sea monkeys is that, like, I almost changed the show to be about sea monkeys because this story of Harold von Braunhut is so crazy. His name was not Harold von Braunhut originally.
Okay.
He was a Jewish kid named Harold Nathan Braunhut, and he added the von during World War II to show, I think, which side he was on.
That seems weird.
Yeah, against the culture. The rest of the culture during World Wars I and II is trying to seem less German.
Right.
This guy is very upset that he might be taken for Jewish when the master race has finally arrived.
Did he do this like pre-war or like in the middle of the war?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it might be in the 30s.
Okay.
But either way, this is a guy who, despite his devout Jewish upbringing, later became like a incredibly devoted member of the Aryan nations.
Whoa.
And would go to all their stuff, and well into the 80s was giving racist quotes to newspapers about the different racial differences that he deplored. And that's right. I can speak truthfully about this stuff. So if you bought X-ray specs or sea monkeys, you were not just getting taken. You were also funding some kind of racist secret society from a Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Well, that's not where I expected we would be already just a few minutes into the show.
It's probably a half an hour.
Yeah, it's actually 50.
This is the latest we've ever got to Nazis. Like usually.
Yeah, usually we don't get to the topic, but we're talking about Nazis.
But yeah, like this guy built an empire on lying to kids in the pages of their own publications. He would sell 3.2 million. He would buy 3.2 million pages of newsprint a year in comics and whatnot, and put sea monkeys on them with crowns.
And did this make him a fortune?
Yes.
I mean, everybody we know had sea monkeys at some point.
Basically, every chapter of the Klan was probably being funded by sea monkeys for a 20-year period.
Was there no system in place to...
Were there no workhouses?
Or no, was there no like...
right, truth in advertising
that said like, wait a minute, you can't keep doing this.
I think because everything was a lie, maybe there were no actual standards to keep to. I mean,
this was one of those like buyer beware, kid.
And they were all just ridiculous. Like, I think the thing is, a grown-up would be like, a grown-up would know you're not actually getting 1,000 soldiers or an alien with a crown, or the famous one that people can't believe was real, but it was. It would say Polaris nuclear sub, 7 feet long. And there would be a picture of a submarine.
I remember this.
With kids in it and a periscope. And
7 feet long.
Then the implication would be that it could go underwater.
Yeah.
And you would actually get something that 2 kids could fit in the mail, but you would be so sad. It was
made out of cardboard.
It was a big cardboard box.
Yeah.
And I think it did have a periscope with a mirror. But the idea that every kid is imagining going to the bottom of the pond out back of the farm or whatever it is.
So when I get HelloFresh meals, as longtime listeners know, in my family, we kind of have 2 households, right? I live in my bachelor house because I'm kind of, I wouldn't say difficult to live with, but I definitely am up all night and I have my own house for a variety of reasons. But I eat a lot of dinner. In fact, maybe 90% of my dinners I eat at my daughter's mother's house, which is only a mile from my house. And so when I get HelloFresh, I have those boxes delivered to my other house, let's call it. And so we make those meals together as a family, and we eat them as dinner. And so there's 3 of us, and these aren't, they can't be small portions, right? It's got to feed 3 people. And, there's a reason that HelloFresh is the number 1 meal kit in America, but it's also like, we've really got cooking HelloFresh meals kind of down to a science. And HelloFresh has this, an extremely wide variety of meals. There's over 100 options of different kinds of meal kits, seasonal dishes, recipes from around the world. They're an opportunity to kind of experiment with your food, and they have large portions. And that's what I'm saying, like large enough portions that they can feed, that a HelloFresh meal can be dinner for the entire family. And they're healthy, right? They're satisfying, but they're also, you feel good about eating them, right? You know exactly what's going into them. And that's the thing about eating meals, certainly in restaurants, but any kind of pre-prepared meal where those foods are really processed and you don't have any sense of how much salt is in them, how much sugar's in them, how many times the food has kind of been through a grinder and with color added to it. Like, these feel natural. They feel like the ingredients that you would buy at the grocery store if you were prepared to already know how to make a meal with and buy all the spices. Like, it does that work for you, so you don't have to get out the joy of cooking. But it still really, really is cooking. It doesn't just feel like cooking. It is cooking. And they have high protein options. They have things, like lamb chops and ribeyes, but also tons of veggie options, meals that have more than one vegetable as a component of them, if you can imagine that. They've got seafood, like a lot more seafood options than they used to have. And now it's autumn and our tastes kind of change. I want heartier food in the autumn, and they've got chili and they've got the tenderloins. And so we eat HelloFresh all the time, basically, and it is great. We enjoy making them and we enjoy eating them. So here's what I recommend to you. The best way to cook just got better. Go to hellofresh.com/omnibus10. That's 10 FM. So all together, written as one word, Omnibus 10 FM, and you'll get 10 free meals and a free breakfast for life. 10 free meals. That's like, it's a month worth of food if you intersperse it with other things that you do, like get pizza or whatever. 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life, 1 per box with active subscription, free meals applied as discount on first box, new subscribers only, and it varies by plan. But that's hellofresh.com/omnibus10fm to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. Even if you've had HelloFresh before and have let it lapse and you don't qualify for this deal, you still, or if you're still using HelloFresh, it's still an incredible value. You don't need that enticement to use it or to get HelloFresh. You don't need anything off. It's still awesome. So go to hellofresh.com and then /omnibus10fm. I saw the craziest thing this morning on the internet. A guy, if you can believe it, in middle age, if you can believe that, built like a 20-foot long F-18 remote control fighter jet. Which
20 feet long?
Yeah, and it had real engines, real jet engines, and he took it off from an airport and flew it around, and it looked to all the world like a
Well, yeah,
real
it's
F-18.
probably like a quarter scale or something, right? Like,
It was incredible. The thing must have cost him tens of thousands of dollars to build.
is he just making every part custom, like miniature F-18 parts?
I have no idea, but it was the most dad. He had achieved peak dad. It was it was incredibly cool, but it was also like, you can't be doing anything else. You can't have a job.
Peak dad is you do something that is cool, but your kids do not think is cool.
I mean, his kids have got to be humiliated. But he could only get this thing to the airport by driving it on a custom trailer. Like, can you imagine that guy driving by you? Where you're like,
is it not any kind of FAA violation? Is he under arrest at this time?
I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think he was a European guy, but I think it was being filmed in Dubai, where there are no real laws.
No laws, yeah.
Or laws that only apply to some people.
In Dubai, you can sell all the sea monkeys you want, probably.
Yeah.
Are there there were weird ones that I never saw, but are kind of beloved today online. Like you could just open your Uncle Scrooge comic and somebody would be trying to sell you a pet baby raccoon for $29.95.
I did not see that.
Can you imagine your mom if you got a $30 raccoon in the mail and you didn't tell anybody? And then the most horrifying one, squirrel monkeys from South America, $18.95, $9 cheaper than the raccoon.
Squirrel monkeys.
Somebody was importing, by one source I read, 173,000 of these were sold over the 10-year period that this importer was bringing them in from the Amazon.
Wait, you're saying for $20 you could actually get a monkey?
A squirrel monkey. Yeah, these were not, these were bad news in other ways, but they weren't fake like the submarine.
How big is a squirrel monkey?
It's one of the smaller monkeys.
Is it a monkey or
Yes.
a squirrel?
It is a monkey.
A monkey?
Yeah, and
that would show up like in a box? How did the monkey get delivered?
Squirrel monkeys are about a foot long.
This is before
without the tail.
This is before UPS even.
Yeah, there was no Amazon guy peeing in his truck bringing you a live monkey.
So you're saying some kids got a monkey and a raccoon in the mail, and I'm not one of those kids?
Just from the postal service, I guess?
I feel really robbed. I already feel robbed about my childhood, but that is a robbery.
This also seems like it's probably some kind of an animal rights violation that somebody should be doing a 6-episode podcast or streaming show about. If they sold 173,000 exotic pets to unsuspecting children, what happened to all those monkeys?
How long does a squirrel monkey live? Are there like 80-year-old squirrel monkeys who are like still living on the shoulder of?
This is probably from the 60s. And those in captivity, they can live longer than their typical 15 years. But Central America may be low on squirrel monkeys to this day because of this terrible pipeline.
What's funny is that when I got into Dungeons and Dragons at first, and the concept of a familiar dawned on me that if you were a wizard or a witch, you would have a little owl or a little something that sat on your shoulder that did crimes for you. But the idea that any kid could have a monkey that you could train to do crimes.
I just realized that Pokemon would never have existed. Pokemon is based on the fantasy that all kids want a little animal on their shoulder to do super feats.
I think all kids do. I think it's something innate to us as a species.
If you could just get a monkey in the mail for, what was it, $18.95?
That's $18.95 and $1970.
It's true. That's not, maybe the idea is that's a number where a kid cannot just scrape it together from their allowance.
I couldn't have put $20 together until I was 8 years old, but then I'd been mowing lawns for 4 years at that point.
The ability of mid-century children to have a bunch of income streams.
Yeah.
Lawns, newspaper routes. This is central to this story. But there were many of these ads that were more famous than the product. Like, to this day, if you picture X-ray specs, you're not picturing someone buying X-ray, someone wearing them. You're picturing the little kind of crude picture in one of those boxes.
Where they have spirals for lenses.
Spirals next to all the other weird prizes. Maybe the most famous one was the Charles Atlas bodybuilding system. Because we can all picture I don't know, do kids today know this ad?
Eat sand, punk, or whatever it was.
A kid goes to the beach with his girl, only to find that the big muscled guys at the beach.
Dry up and blow away.
Think of him as a 90-pound weakling.
And the girl,
sand.
Yeah, his cute girlfriend
just leaves with leaves with the muscle-bound oaf.
Yeah.
Why kicking sand? That's
because they're on the beach. It just feels like it's
the most insulting thing you can do to one at the beach.
Yeah, it's an indignity. It's just an indignity, right? He doesn't beat the guy up. He just makes him seem like a weak
Do you think it's code for
fictional
like he's
meaning.
getting beaten up, but you couldn't put that in a comic book ad?
Maybe.
Because if it was a juvenile delinquent movie, the kid would get beat up. Anyway, the ad ends with the kid sending away for Charles Atlas, bodybuilder Charles Atlas's amazing system of dynamic tension techniques. And the next time he goes back to the beach, he socks the bully.
Yeah. He says, now you dry up and blow away.
Hopefully the guy remembers, because that's a callback to something that happened, 6 months ago? Or
Well, let's see. How long would it take to get super buff?
well, you also have to figure out that it has to be beach season.
Oh, right. So it's
So
a
it's
year
probably
later.
a full year.
Yeah.
A full year. And the guy's like, oh, what the perfect comeback to that thing I told him last July. He sure got me. And I believe the girl even
She says, oh, you're a real man.
re-clings to the guy. Yeah, there's no subtext at all.
Yeah.
You're a real man.
You're a real man. Well, the thing is that if you're a guy that says, why don't you dry up and blow away? I bet you don't only use that line once. If you're like a bully.
She's heard that a lot.
Yeah, I bet he says that all the time. So when you say it back to him, it's like, oh, that's my line, my signature.
I guess that whole thing of Biff Tannen screwing up that kind of a line must come by way of Charles Atlas DNA, right? The idea that bullies will say go away in funny ways. That's a Charles Atlas thing. I just realized.
Well, or that he might be taking it from some 19th century bully that you and I probably already did a show about, but we've both forgotten.
We're all real bullies saying stuff like that at the time? Maybe.
Probably.
That was the most insulting thing that science had invented, like among white people.
Yeah.
I'm sure the dozens existed, and you could say things about sexual congress with people's mothers.
Right.
But not a white bully.
But white people didn't do that.
White
no,
people
they
were
had
just
curly
like-
mustaches.
The worst thing they could think of was if their enemy dried up and blew away.
Yeah, that's right. Why don't you make like a screwdriver and bail or whatever? just dumb things.
So again, this is a case where I think literally 50 years of kids, baby boom through Gen X, can picture that ad, but maybe has no idea what the Charles Atlas set was. I'm picturing those spring things. Do you think that's what it was?
Or big rubber bands, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
They
Something you
couldn't
can-
have been like actual
Right, because you couldn't
weights.
send it in the mail.
Right.
Although apparently you can send 173,000 squirrel monkeys. But it's not cost effective to send 50-pound weights.
Can you imagine the warehouse where the squirrel monkeys are coming in and they're putting them in envelopes? I mean,
but there was one as a kid that maybe I saw almost as often as Charles Atlas or Sea Monkeys, but which puzzled me even more. And that was Grit magazine, or I guess just Grit it was called.
I remember Grit.
Do you remember these ads? Anything about them or?
Yeah, it was about being a boy. It was like some Cub Scout thing, right?
Yes, it was always in Boys Life,
Yeah.
and it was always like boys.
Yeah.
It was gendered for most of the existence of this program.
Well, Sunset Magazine, if you recall, all the moms on the West Coast all got Sunset Magazine. And mostly it was about making Jell-O salad.
And Afghans?
Afghans.
Pretty Afghan
knitting.
heavy.
Yeah, there were a lot of ferns. And it was also showing off the mid-century architecture of your house in Santa Barbara.
Except back then we didn't call it mid-century architecture.
That's right. It was just
architecture.
Just architecture. And every, as a Seattleite, every issue maybe had something in Seattle, but hardly ever was it like the full spread.
Yeah, it was all centered in Northern California, I guess?
Or just, that's sort of like, oh, these neighborhoods are nice, and there's nothing like that up here. And then once a year, there'd be something about Alaska, like, go see the glaciers. But we all had it. Every mom had it. And in the back, there were all those ads like, is your son fat? Then send him to fat school. It's in Arizona. And there was always some like pouty kid who was a
This
little
looks
chubby.
like Pugsley Adams or something.
Yeah, just like, send your fat kid to fat school.
Fat school sounds like a place where you would go to become fat. Send your thin kid to fat school. Send your fat kid to thin school.
No, it's like I don't know what they did. They made him walk up mountains every day. And then there was the one, is your kid disobedient? Does your kid smoke marijuana?
Send him to fat school.
And, our good friend Jason Finn of the Presidency of the United States actually went to his parents sent him away to some camp in Utah.
For juvenile delinquents? Or some
where
scared straight thing?
they locked him in at night and they made him, beats me.
But it worked. He's such a nice guy.
I know.
These camps were 100% effective.
I know. I mean,
all those kids now are straight and sober and...
I don't want to out him as somebody that did smoke marijuana, but he at least knew some people that did. But yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. It was so.
If you smell it on him, it's probably because he was with those people.
He was around them. Yeah. He worked in an environment.
That's right.
But it was before you could even imply that there was any kind of like, is your kid gay? We're going to straighten him out. But that was
that kind of the subtext of,
yeah,
we'll toughen them up.
Yeah. Is your kid not?
Those places did expressly exist. They just didn't use that language when they advertised.
Is your kid a fairy? We're sending him to fairy school.
Again, seems like the opposite.
But yeah, I was terrified of those things. And my mom actually once got a bunch of applications send away for them in the back of Sunset Magazine.
Because she was going to send you to, just to scare you.
She did it just to threaten me.
Leave them sitting around.
No, she put them on the table and she was like, you fill them out. Knowing full well that attention deficit disorder and fear would keep me from ever.
You had to fill out your own applications to delinquent school?
Yeah, you fill out these applications to delinquent school. And I was like, I don't want to go to delinquent. So they sent me to Outward Bound.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is, it did toughen me up. Boy, it took the gay right out of me.
Well, not entirely.
Well, that's the thing. As my daughter says.
Does it move you on the Kinsey scale like 3 points or whatever?
She is constantly trying to rate how gay I am. She's like, I don't know, you're 30% gay. And I'm like, I don't even think that's enough.
Yeah, you want more.
I'm 48%.
What a good ally. But the young people are going to be like, no, that's appropriation. You can't claim gay points you don't actually have.
You know what? Nobody knows how many gay points I've earned.
I've been listening to Mitski. I feel like maybe that'll help. Like, how trans am I? I don't know. Unclear.
I don't think you're very. But
I'm trying.
I lived in Seattle in the 90s. There were all kinds of things that just happened at parties.
These comics had huge circulation, like Sunset Magazine, of course. Like, A Million Moms got this.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about this in the Comics Code Authority. Like, kids' comics had amazing hold over young America. As late as the 60s, Walt Disney was selling 1 million of each of their comics every month. 1 million kids were getting Mickey Mouse, 1 million kids were getting Uncle Scrooge, 1 million kids were getting Walt Disney's comics and stories.
Really?
Yeah, I mean the same kids, obviously.
Yeah, right. It's where I got my news.
Really?
Yeah.
You're like, wow, there's a lot of jewels that ducks are looking for in the jungle.
Yeah, apparently Richie Rich actually has a fountain that spews diamonds.
Kids really did love rich people, rich ducks, rich little kids. Just fantasizing about having a robot butler ironing their sweaters or whatever.
And a like a Rolls Royce, but it's scaled down to be like the size of an 8-year-old.
It's just hitting me now that Silver Spoon show with Ricky Schroeder was just exactly. Richie Rich.
It's Richie Rich.
Let's make a Richie Rich sitcom because kids fantasize about wealth.
For sure.
Today still, I don't know.
That's interesting.
Are the kids too woke to be like, I want a mini train in my bedroom?
Well, where was that coming from?
I don't know. Post-war consumerist. I mean, nobody was second guessing it. All the ads were like, buy this and you'll be happy, like even to kids.
But the thing about Richie Rich is he was nice and generous. He didn't let it affect him in a bad way, not like his bad friend.
Harvey, what was that kid's name? Who's the Reggie of Richie Rich?
He had freckles and red hair.
Reggie Rich.
That's
not right.
But Uncle Scrooge was miserly and curmudgeonly.
But he was still like, boy, he's going to take his nephews onto his private jet and they're going to go to Slambavistan and climb the mountain of the whatever, Mm-hmm. Like Harvey had a bunch of other comics where like Richie Rich, it was like, here's a little kid with one gimmick, Mm-hmm. This little girl's a witch. This little girl likes dots. But
Dot!
But we hardly
forgot all about it.
But we hardly remember them. We remember Richie Rich because what do kids want? Like money fantasies.
She likes dots.
Because there was a Gadsby coded one, we don't think about Lil Dot anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Josie and the Pussycats,
there we go.
As you get older, there's a lot more going on.
Right, there's Archies.
Yeah, Moose was big and Midge was small.
I'm a big kid, which means I'm 7, but I'm thinking about mall shop culture.
Right.
Or maybe I'm 9 or 11. I'm thinking about teens that might date and go to sock hops.
Did you identify with Archie?
The character?
I mean, you're very Archie. I always identified with Jughead.
Yeah.
Was he the kid that everybody identified with, or did I just have a lazy affection for hamburgers and that was... Who did you identify with? The Nebbish.
Yeah, like Archie is too much of an everyman, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I just knew that I wouldn't have been hanging out with them anyway. Like I would have been hanging out with Mr. Weatherby in the library. Those guys aren't going to let me into their jalopies. They're going to be out having fun with burgers and sodas.
I think I identified enough with Jughead that he actually was a template for me in like junior high.
It is a great lower back tattoo you have of
Thank you.
of Jughead.
Thank you.
That was of all the things you could have gotten.
When I shave my head, I have Jughead's crown tattooed right on the top.
Between the sea monkeys and Jughead,
Yeah.
like weird crown wearing aliens were a big part of your childhood.
Right, the crown. What's going on with that?
Why are kids not wearing those
God.
those beanies that have like the crown shape?
We say this stuff like, hey, millennials, guess how weird our childhood was. But they had those cartoons where little mice were like screaming at them in high-pitched voices. I have to guess that
They learned all this stuff from Dexter's lab that we will never know.
we'll never know.
Nope. No way to know. But the one that puzzled me the most, because I saw it pretty much any time I opened an X-Men comic or a Superman comic or a Boy's Life or whatever,
It was Grit.
was Grit. Grit ads always look something like this. They'd have a big headline. There'd be a dopey mid-century looking kid where like they'd clearly taken the picture 15, 20 years ago. Like it could be one of the Little Rascals for all I knew.
It's this guy
in
here on the
1980.
science set.
Yeah, it's Science Kid.
Yeah.
Except maybe a little goofier, like his teeth are a little too big or his eyes are a little too small or whatever. Boys, here's a swell way to make $1 to $5 weekly in your spare time and win dandy prizes too. As the years went on, dandy was replaced with nifty.
Oh, yeah.
But
That's
I think
more modern.
But well into the 70s and 80s, these ads were like, you'll get nifty prizes. I don't think Grit ever told you anything would be cool.
Maybe Dandy was too gay-coded.
I think dandy's only gay coded now. Dandy's one of many adjectives that back then sounded perfectly fine. People could just be merry.
I get called dandy a lot, but I think then everybody has to kind of pull back on it because I clearly look like I've been sleeping in my car. And so it's like, well, he's wearing a tie, but
Dandy on the skids.
yeah, he's sleeping outside. That's
Depression era stockbroker.
what it is.
Didn't go through the window, but
But yeah, I remember this about Grit, that it was a money-making opportunity.
yes, it was never about whatever Grit was or whatever its contents were. It was always making a pitch to you, the kid, that, boy, you could get walkie-talkies or a bike
Yeah.
or a flashlight, some boy-coded thing.
Flashlight.
If you were just good enough at Grit, whatever that is.
Do you see the flashlights that are all around you here? There's a flashlight right there. There's flashlights. Because I'm a boy and I got flashlights.
And you want to have one within reach?
I don't know why.
Where
there's
will you be
6
when the lights go
flashlights
out?
in this room.
Do any of them work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I keep them all maintained and
Once a month, you got
Fresh batteries.
you make your rotation through the house.
well, what's infuriating is that new flashlights that have LEDs can light up the night like a nuclear explosion.
You can shine them on clouds like Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
Like they're crazy.
Boom. And all of my flashlights are like mag lights from
That's right.
the 1920s. And, it's like a beam of yellow light that kind of disappears in the mist.
And maybe when you turn them on for the first time in 20 years, like it immediately goes.
But I can't get off of them. I want to keep, because they all feel so good. And I don't want to, but I really want to light up the night.
It does seem like you're somebody who would have signed up for Grit. You're like, flashlights, walkie-talkies? Yes, please. A bell for my bike?
But I think I suspected, maybe based on sea monkeys, that it was a pyramid scheme.
But look how they reassure you. Grit sells easily for 15 cents. This is obviously an earlier. You'll make 5 cents profit on every copy you sell. Grit is the popular publication in more than 1,200,000 homes every week. Is it?
No.
I think it created this thing where every American youngster knew about Grit and the possibility of selling it if they were ever to send in the postcard, but had never actually seen it, had no idea what was in it. I certainly had no idea what Grit was. And the advertising never tried to sell you on Grit, its mission statement or its contents. It was only trying to sell you on Grit as a money-making enterprise for, 10 to 14-year-olds, 12 to 14-year-olds?
Well, this was, as you said earlier, a time when to be 9 years old was to have a job.
To have many revenue streams available to you.
I mowed lawns.
Right.
I did a little bit of babysitting.
Kids
had
would
a newspaper route.
paper out. Kids could just, on a summer day, decide to go door to door and do something.
Sure.
They could set up a lemonade stand.
Chores.
Once a year, you're selling, turkeys for your band or baked goods for your scout troop. You're picking up cans or bottles maybe. This all seems like it's Depression era, but no.
Newspaper drives.
Paper
Remember
drives?
newspaper drives?
Yeah.
And cans and bottles. But also I think there was some, like my chores were tied to some $1 a week.
We did that too.
Kind of thing where it was like.
I've since learned that's bad parenting.
Oh.
Because it makes kids not want to chip in except for money. Like you're supposed to praise them
right
for chipping in, but pay them anyway.
I
guess.
I never give my daughter anything except scorn.
Problem solved.
And it's why she's now president of the Army.
She finally got an iPad, so somebody gave her something.
No, she has no iPad. What makes you think that?
She doesn't have a tablet?
No.
She has her little dumb phone, which is fun.
She has a dumb phone that irritates her to no end. And she has, I think, an iPod from 2004.
Okay.
But it doesn't.
Don't say I never did anything for you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's preloaded with that U2 album.
Listen,
enjoy.
The encyclopedias were good enough for me. They're good enough for you. And I have a copy of encyclopedias from 1968 and 1972.
They really make it seem like it's a vast empire 1.2 million homes, plus that it involves everyone except for you. You're going to be left out. Join over 30,000 who win free prizes and make from $2 to $10 or even more, selling grit to friends, relatives, neighbors, and others every week.
The population of the United States in 1960 was only 1.5 million or something.
Apparently 1 in 10 people were buying grit. Everyone is eager to buy grit from you at only 25 cents a copy. This is, you can see this is later on, the prices could be up. Because it contains, this is the only ad I've ever saw that actually told you why everyone would be chomping at the bit to buy grit. Because it contains world news, sports, women's features, children's pages, comics, games, exciting fiction. This doesn't narrow it down at all. Apparently grit contains everything, and that's why it's so easy to sell. It's your one-stop marketplace for everything from, imagine getting your world news from grit.
What was the magazine that was for kids that was always in dentists' offices that had like
Scholastic?
No, it was, it had
Highlights for
Goofus
children.
and Gallant. Yeah, it was highlights.
I don't think that had ads.
I guess not.
Like that was high-minded enough that like you never could see x-ray specs in it, right?
Right. No, you're right.
But yeah, highlights for children. I don't think they ever had grit ads and highlights. But anyway, my whole childhood, at the back of my mind, it was just nagging at me. Like, what the WTF? Like, what is grit?
Why
would you call a newspaper or magazine grit anyway?
I never saw an actual copy.
No one did. I started to wonder if it didn't actually exist. Like,
well, did it?
I've seen, I see newsstands. I see every magazine I've ever heard of and 100 more. Where's grit?
Did they actually sell any? Did they make money selling grit?
I finally got, recently, I don't know why, I decided to figure out what the hell was up with grit.
I know why.
Why?
You're a nerd.
That's right. I'm a nerd with free time and too much disposable income.
Yeah. You wake up on a Friday and you're like, what was the deal with grit? I've got nothing to do today.
Most of the day is stretching ahead of me. I think most people, within the nerd field, use all their disposable income to buy the things that they once owned as a kid, right?
Right.
But I'm going to go buy the thing that I wasn't sure existed, which is Grit Magazine. And sure enough, people were selling Grit Magazine. And it's changed quite a bit over the years. So I bought like a copy from the 30s. Here's one from the Carter administration. So this is more like what you and I might have seen in a
Wait, you bought these
comic.
where?
eBay.
Well, these are newspapers. That's not a magazine.
I thought Grit was a magazine.
It's a newspaper.
Grit eventually, spoilers, will become a magazine.
Here, scoot these down here.
Yeah,
let me look at it.
Why don't you take a look?
Okay. Oh,
so
look at that.
While you peruse.
Holy cow, this picture of a kid on the cover of 1978 Grit looks like a younger me, except it's got some kind of spider monkey on its shoulder.
Is it a pigeon? What is that?
It's familiar. After a neighbor's dog caught a pigeon in the hayloft of a barn, well, they're getting it all they're not burying the lead here. Ellen Orhala of Aiken, Minnesota, was one of the bird's rescuers, and the Orhala children who'd been playing in the barn took the bird home to mom.
Is this giving you any sense of what Grit is? That this is the front page story? A pigeon was almost killed in a hayloft, but a child nursed it back to health.
Child nursed it back to health. And then the next headline is New Voice for Rural Women Being Heard in Washington.
So what do these have in common?
It's for cowboys.
It's for the sticks.
Yeah.
And yet not entirely, because look what's above the fold there is like inside profiles of
Andy Gibb,
but also Ron Guidry of the Yankees. So it really is like, what is your older sister going to want? What is brother going to want?
Right.
What is dad going to want when he gets off his tractor?
A long life may not be good enough, but a good life is long enough.
Is that the headline?
Yeah, little Proverbs.
Scientists at Oxford University have confirmed that a good life is long enough.
So this is published in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Let me take you back, John, to Williamsport, Pennsylvania at the turn of the 20th century, almost.
Look, it's got Blondie.
It has syndicated columns. It has Irma Bombeck. It has columns and comics.
Ken, it has an ad.
Look how excited you are. Look, it's got Blondie.
It has an ad for Grit.
It does have
ad for Grit. In Grit.
It does have an ad for Grit, confusingly.
Look at that kid. That's me. It looks exactly like I did at that age.
Does this mean all white kids just looked alike in the Carter administration?
Yeah, because all our moms cut our hair. They cut it with a mixing bowl. And I don't know why. We were all on skateboards.
So the rural nature of the paper makes you think, I see, Grit was from Texas. Grit was from Kansas. No, Grit was from Williamsport, Pennsylvania, as you've discovered.
Where is Williamsport, Pennsylvania?
It's,
in Pennsylvania.
It's in Pennsylvania. That's actually a great question because Pennsylvania doesn't have that many ports. So I'm going to assume it is not actually up by Erie, that it's on a river somewhere.
I bet you it's on the Delaware River.
It is in north central Pennsylvania, which makes this river some branch of the Susquehanna, I think.
Oh, the Susquehanna.
And so it's north of Harrisburg. There's really maybe not much around there, it looks like. I was going to tell you whether it was closer to Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, and the answer appears to be neither, nothing, near to nothing.
Yeah, but but the river is flowing to the Ohio, not toward the Chesapeake Bay.
West branch of the Susquehanna. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Really? Oh, that's interesting.
It's practically in upstate New York.
Yeah.
I mean, not really.
But it's on the other side of the Appalachians, and so the river's going that way instead of that way.
Or as they would say up there, the Appalachians.
They would say the Appalachians. That's right. I just got tired of getting yelled at.
It just makes me angrier when people yell at me for not saying some regional pronunciation. I'm like, screw you. I will never use your regional pronunciation.
Do you want to know the crazy thing? I was at an event the other day, like a political event, and a guy got up and said, I am born and raised in Puyallup.
Wow.
And I was like, I looked around at the other people standing around me. I was like, what did he just say? Puyallup. Born and raised.
It's a false flag.
Yeah. Weird.
In 1869, to tell the true story of Grit, first of all, we have to dick around for an hour, and then we have to go back to 1869.
Yeah, here you sent me another one over here that was from 1935.
Yeah,
Grit's been around.
Yes, Grit is a 19th century invention. In 1869, a young boy named Dietrich Lamedy arrives on these shores from Germany. He's the fourth of 9 children.
Why is it always Germans?
It's not always Germans.
In your story, far.
The last guy was a fake German. He was like a self-hating Jew that thought that sea monkeys were the master race. Right. This is perfect for our new video feed that may or may not ever get seen by anyone.
Well, the thing is, the people that are suspicious about us pivoting to YouTube are really worried that we're going to be doing something over here that...
Like this hilarious thing you're doing right now that nobody can hear.
Yeah, waka, 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 waka.
Boy, a tiny number of people are just laughing their butts off. And the rest of you can't see it. It was so good.
The YouTube
I would describe it to you, but it wouldn't work.
The YouTube thing is going to blow up with Generation Alpha. This is going to be their favorite show.
Pivot to video.
Have you seen the one where the granddad talks to weirdos? All right, so as the holidays approach, and we're getting pretty close to them, there's a kind of I've been trying to gift people something other than just stuff, than sort of things you buy at the cash register, or things where you go and wander around a store and you're like, I guess I'll get this, I guess I'll get that. And one thing you can do is to gift experiences like museum passes and trips and so forth. And I have discovered recently Function Health, which I think would make a great gift because it would be an unconventional gift. But what Function Health does is it gives you access to like a wide variety of tests and data about your health. And as a person now in middle age, I am more concerned not just with my general health, but with specific indicators of my health. What's my blood sugar like? What are my lipids? I don't even know what they are, but I'm curious about them. What's my blood pressure? What are all the multitude of indicators of my health and status? And what Function does is compile these all. You can get MRIs and CAT scans of your chest, and then they're put into Function Health. You get a near 360-degree view of what's happening in your body. And it involves getting tested, and it involves and Function will do all the administration and all of the compilation. I mean, it's a massive enterprise what they provide for you, and it isn't inexpensive, but it's like a beautiful kind of it would be an unconventional gift that would kind of be rad to get this kind of like it's very thoughtful and it's very informative. It's for people that want to know really what's happening. And I get extremely confused dealing with 8 different doctors who have all this data and kind of don't coordinate with each other. So Function Health gives you access to over 160 lab tests, heart, hormone, inflammation, stress. It helps you understand your health and make informed decisions about your health. And what I'm offering you today from the Omnibus Project is the following. For $365 a year, which is what? $1 a day, you can go to Function Health, or you should go to functionhealth.com/omnibus. Use Omnibus 25 for a $25 credit toward your membership. Now, $365 a year is already a discount off of what they were charging. And it seems like, that is an investment. But when you think about buying Christmas presents, that'd be a pretty nice Christmas present. But it is the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I mean? This kind of self-awareness and awareness of your body. Go to functionhealth.com/omnibus. Use the gift code omnibus25 for a $25 credit. Get it as a gift, and I suggest get it as a gift for yourself, because this is the kind of, it's the kind of knowledge that's going to help you if you're ready to change your life. Maybe you don't need to change your life. Maybe you look at those tests and you're psyched. I'm more psyched than I was by my test results. So thank you, Function Health, for sponsoring Omnibus, and happy holidays, everybody.
The Lamedy family settles in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, for reasons that are unclear to me. What farming, I guess. Pennsylvania, in 1870. It's not steel yet.
I bet you on that river there were mills.
Yeah, it's lumber and stuff, huh? Yeah, and cloth mills and
probably something like
tanneries. Who knows? But sadly, young Dietrich's dad dies just a few years after.
Aww.
And so he has to shoulder the responsibilities of adulthood at a very young age. And before long, he is a printer's devil, which is a phrase I only know from the Twilight Zone. Do you know what a printer's devil?
Well, there was an alternative theater company here in Seattle called Printer's Devil that involved a lot of my friends. I was in a production of Printer's Devil Theater with former MTV VJ and ex-husband of Lynn Shelton,
guy who married
R.I.P.,
Lynn Shelton.
Kevin Seal.
Kevin Seal. could not
Kevin
remember
Seal,
that name.
in some ways, the best VJ.
Yeah, not first run,
but
like
funny.
he was good.
He felt like one of us.
And but you never knew what a printer's devil was.
No, in fact, I only thought it was just the name of this theater company.
I guess it was a term in the trade for an apprentice around a printer's office.
Printer's devil.
The gopher kid who would do everything. In the Twilight Zone episode, spoilers, it's Burgess Meredith and it's the actual devil. That's the joke. What if the devil had a newspaper, which today we know is just Murdoch.
How many Twilight Zone episodes had Burgess
That's a great question.
Because it seems like a lot.
It's all of them. The record holder, I believe, is Jack Klugman. Jack Klugman is in something like 5 or 6 Twilight Zones. So very good odds of hitting a Klug.
Yeah.
During a Twilight Zone marathon.
What's his best episode? Klugman.
Probably a game of pool. He's a pool hustler who goes to the afterlife and gets to play against a hero of a past generation.
There's no one under 50 listening who knows who Jack Klugman or Burgess Meredith are.
That's correct. But
yet we know them intimately.
But they might know the Twilight Zone. Like Twilight Zone will have a better afterlife than The Odd Couple or Quincy or
for sure
whatever Burgess Meredith's other work was. Of Mice and Men, probably some super communist playhouse in the 30s. Rocky. There we go.
Rocky. That's right.
They know him from
Rocky
and Clash of the Titans, where he also plays a trainer to a hero. He's basically playing his Rocky character in Greek times,
which was only a few years later.
That just occurred to me now. Why are we talking about this? Oh, because young Dietrich Lameke becomes a printer's devil and works his way up. He's a typesetter. In December,
you said that with a lot of spit in your typesetter.
No, that's. Think about this. This was. For most of American history, everybody recognized, a bunch of people hated immigrants, but everyone just kind of recognized that the country was being built on immigrants.
Yeah.
We're momentarily pretending we can ignore that. And
Irish and Germans.
It's probably going to come back to bite us. But on December 5th, 1882, a local Williamsport paper prints a Saturday edition called Grit. And it's unclear where the name comes from. Grit goes back to maybe older Middle English, meaning like something gravelly, something that's been ground up.
Grist.
Yeah, it's the same place we get grist or groats even. Something that got ground. And it's rough hewn.
Wait, is Land of Groats named after...
Is that another theater company you were in?
Groats?
Did you and Kevin Seal do Hot L Baltimore for Land of Groats?
I was in Hot L.
I know you were in Hot L Baltimore.
No, Land of Groats is.
Is it like a Whole Foods brand? Is it the house brand at Sprouts?
It's like the furthest.
Is it an alternative band?
It's the furthest point on the Isle of Great Britain.
Oh, it's like Land's End?
You go from Land's End to John o' Groats.
Oh, John o' Groats on the other side.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's in Scotland. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, John o' Groats.
You go all the way north.
All the way north.
I now remember we have talked about this on Omnibus before, and I've had this realization before.
I don't know if I ever told you, I went on a long walk once, and as a consequence of that, I know all the long walks.
Even the ones you didn't go on. Because you were so bored doing your long walk, you were looking up different, shorter, better ones.
Somebody wrote me the other day and they were like, hey, just wanted to say, love the show. I'm currently on a walk through the Himalayas.
Wow.
A long walk through the Himalayas. And the person did not make any reference to I don't know if you have ever heard that I've gone on a long walk, or made no long walk, didn't try and tie it in at all. They were like,
do you think they're just like, I like your podcast is keeping me company, whether or not it occasionally mentions?
I think so. Maybe they elide over the long walk parts, or maybe they're listening to it at 5 times speed and they can barely hear what
maybe it was
saying.
Just understood. You'll get it. Right. But that person soon discovered like an ancient Cthulhu temple and is now some kind of hypnotized monster of the old ones, probably. Isn't that what happens when you go to the Himalayas?
You become a Cthulhu?
Yeah, you get Cthulhu'd up. You wander you fall into a ravine, and
boy, I don't know this mythology.
I just think that's what's always happened. That's how Cthulhu's always getting people. Explorers go to the wrong part of Antarctica or Tibet, and
I see.
And suddenly they've been space monstered.
You're basing this on one movie about Antarctica.
Not even the Himalayas. Groats are, interesting. Groats are larger than grits. Because, it's the O sound.
Stands to reason.
Like if you saw a grit that was too big, you'd be like, I'm going to call this a groat.
That's a groat. And then the largest one is a grat.
It's a grit that grew. It's a groat. So yeah, I think John O'Groats is a reference to actual groats.
But the idea of grit being
As a character trait.
yeah, that you like could dig in and you wouldn't wuss out.
Yeah, it's backbone, it's character. Maybe, I guess in the, True Grit is a 60s novel.
Right.
But it's written in kind of a frontier vernacular.
Sure.
And there were people at the, it is kind of a Mark Twain era coinage. He had real grit or rail grit. Sometimes they say rail grit.
Somebody said the other day that on Jeopardy recently, you said millionaire.
How could you not? The thing that blew my mind was somebody wrote us, and clearly they were right. They said it was always millionaire when it was parallel with legionnaire or concessionaire or whatever. The air is the important part. But once there were different amounts to distinguish, millionaire, billionaire, zillionaire, then naturally you start to put the accent on the number.
Right.
And that had never occurred to me.
Right. That makes sense.
Why are we talking about this? Oh, the grit. So yeah, grit does date back to the 19th century, meaning a toughness of character. You can see the obvious progression from a gravelly stuff to, somebody's hard-bitten character.
But that wasn't true. It seems like an American coinage almost, or like an industrial coinage.
It sounds the OED calls it U.S. slang.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think you can find it on both sides of the Atlantic. There's a very early cite from Nathaniel Hawthorne saying that a certain poet has no grit. But it very quickly becomes, what it is today. Like today it's very popular because some Ivy League psychologist, I think Angela Duckworth, published some thing about how grit is the secret of kids.
Right, I've heard that.
Here's what makes you a person is perseverance.
But it seems like a Jordan Petersonism too, right? Like it's conservative coded.
Maybe.
That
these snowflakes today can't.
Exactly.
It's just, it's old people on Nextdoor complaining about, when I was a kid, we had jobs. Why don't these kids have jobs? That guy probably voted Democrat 20 straight elections and he's still a dingus,
What I've noticed is that lately conservative media is finding people of color and specifically women of color who are willing to get in front of a microphone and talk about how millennials are wusses.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
Candace Owens.
Yeah, it's a whole new genre of media. Like the problem with trigger alerts is
remember you can't spell grift without grit. But the original grit was not a grift, which kind of surprised me after reading all those articles. Anyway, so grit is this Saturday supplement. It's typeset by none other than our man, Diedrich Lamedy. And within 2 years, he and two partners have gotten together over $1,000 to buy both the name Grit and a printing press of their own. He's climbed the ladder at whatever this local Williamsport newspaper office is to be some kind of business manager and scrapes together, I think, what is today tens of thousands of dollars.
So Williamsport,
to buy Grit.
The newspaper would have had a circulation of 2,000.
Yeah, I mean,
but he saw, this is good branding, and
he wants to be a publisher.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't want to have the second or third local paper. I think there's the Times and the Banner have just consolidated in Williamsport. He wants to be a publishing mogul. This is immigrant dreams, and. To do that, he has to get out of Williamsport. He needs to make this like a regional paper. So he starts getting on trains and heading out to other Pennsylvania towns and cities to promote not Grit, this amazing weekly paper, which I think he has moved to Sundays, but a Thanksgiving raffle. He when he gets to a town, he finds an army of young urchins, like, whatever boys are pushing hoops through town on sticks,
sure,
or trying to get a dog to come out of a culvert.
The
only two activities at the time.
They just got off their shift working deep in a coal mine.
I think these kids maybe are not, they're whatever age, they're not in the coal mine yet.
Yeah.
He's going to specialize on that very narrow window, 10 to 14 or whatever it is.
Well, as my dad used to say, you graduated from knickers to pants.
Yeah. These are still knicker kids after school.
That's right.
With some time. And so he takes these small town Pennsylvania Bowery boys and he says, boys.
Hey,
I guess he's
boys.
German. He's German.
Oh,
boys. He wants them to put up these
Kinder.
circulars all over town that have like coupons for like sign up for our Thanksgiving raffle. So, everywhere around the area, people are seeing these signs for a big thing. And the prizes are good. You could win a piano. You could win a whole suite of bedroom furniture. Even a dresser, And
is this a grift or is it real?
It's real, but what you have to have is you have to get a coupon from the sign, and you have to have 3 coupons that are found within the pages of Grit, Pennsylvania's fastest growing newspaper.
Oh, what a trick. That's pretty smart.
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really, he's not cheating. I mean, this is the kind of premium that advertisers would use for the next, this is well into the 20th century. This is how you would sell something.
Right.
Is like somebody's going to win a kayak or something.
But it's pretty smart. Like like he's not selling Grit. He's just offering this great deal.
And it's the faith that once people do have Grit in their homes, they will just sit in the parlor or in the outhouse, paging through mildly interesting news of the weird and local stories.
Right.
And that they'll want it.
Right.
And this actually comes true. The paper becomes popular. He now has this army of children working everywhere, and they become not his familiars or his flying monkeys, but his delivery men. It becomes a paper route for them. They sit by the station waiting for the train to come in with, burlap bags that say Grit on them around their shoulders. And they've told Lamedy that they can sell a certain number of copies, and it's not a grift. They haven't bought the papers. It's not a pyramid scheme.
Right. Okay.
Like they've just said, yeah, I can sell 20, and he will send them 20. And for every one they sell, he will send them, 3 cents or whatever, and they'll have to return the unsold copies. So he's really relying on their character not to gouge. And I'm sure they can tell, they've got a lot of turnover. They can tell who's doing a good job and who's not. But it's not Amway where they're just building up a downline and kids are taking the fall because they've shelled out a penny for each of these papers.
Aren't there lots of 19th century kind of stories of people that have armies of children? Feels like armies of children is a common, right. It's like I guess Willy Wonka does.
Sherlock Holmes did, right? I think there's a German one, Emil and the Detectives. I think there's some Disney adaptation that I never saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, this idea that they're around, they've got time. Often it's a mystery where they can be your eyes and ears. The gimmick is that kids can get in places and overhear conversations that an adult never could.
Right.
But I don't know if this was common. Kids were newsies, had paper routes at the time. But this idea that you would, you'd give them the papers for free and then they'd send you 3 cents back every time they sold one, and you're just trusting them to do so. I don't know if that was a common model. But there were also, from the very beginning, from very early on, there were also premiums, because the ads to catch the kids' attention would be like, you could also get a birdhouse, or you could also get this toy or whatever, for those who sold a lot. And adults could nominate kids. Like if I'm saying kid, but it was all boys. Like if an adult knew a boy that they thought would be good, you could get a free 6-month subscription for selling out your neighbor or your nephew or your kid.
It does feel like you send 20 newspapers to a kid, and then based on how much money he sends back, you either do or don't ever send
him
that kid
papers again.
That's
right.
So it's built in.
They probably have 2 lists.
Yeah, right.
You can lose money on a kid once.
One time.
Yeah. Or maybe if they're nice, twice.
Sure.
But he's German. So, maybe not. Maybe he's not a forgiving sort. This was the model of Grit magazine for the next 80 years.
Wow.
And maybe a little more because it started in the 19th century. Find boys who are looking for an income stream because they're saving up for a $7 Polaris sub or whatever, and promise them cool prizes if they just sell this newspaper that everyone wants.
Is it boys that are finding boys at a certain point, or are there still adults out looking for boys in train stations?
Yeah, I've seen, they used to put out in Grit magazine, and maybe in other publications, there would be a whole thing to fill out being like, here's why I want to sell Grit, know? And then at the end, there would be a box where it's like, I don't want to sell Grit, but here are 6 of my pals.
Yeah.
Sell out your chums.
Out your buds.
Right.
I get emails every day that somebody did that.
But it might be a favor, it might be like, who does, Timmy needs extra money. The Lamedy family kept control of Grit. It passed on from Dietrich to his children. And his children actually got very involved in what became Williamsport's other great contribution to 20th century American boy culture. Do you know what this is?
Boys Life?
Not. They did advertise in Boys Life. No. You know what else is from Williamsport? Is Little League.
No.
Yes. Little League Baseball was a Williamsport institution.
What the hell is going on in Williamsport?
I don't know.
What's in the water of the upper Schenectady?
That gives you lots of plucky young redheaded freckle-faced kids.
Tons of grit up there.
Yeah, you need grit to do Little League.
Yeah.
My kid sure quit every sport as soon as he could. He should have been selling Grit magazine.
No grit.
I guess not a magazine, a paper. So Little League becomes a national pastime with Lamaddy's son kind of at the helm. And to this day, the Little League World Series is played in Williamsport in Howard J. Lamaddy Stadium, named for a former Grit newspaper executive.
Whoa.
So maybe this could have been about sea monkeys and Little League. These are maybe both interesting, but I had already bought the papers is the problem.
How in the world... What a family of imagination.
Really, like they're the Walt Disney of kind of small town boys.
Yeah.
You know, they created small town boyhood for 80 years. They're, you've looked at Grit. So what the hell was in it? Like Dietrich Lamaddy, or maybe his son, said that it should be feel good content. Let every issue ring the joy bells of life. Like, I think that story, so you have the story section, and I think at that time, Grit had 5 sections. There was news, women's, family, comics, and story. And for whatever reason, story is all that is still being sold by resellers today. Maybe people would keep a binder of those in the parlor when they threw out the comics and the news. Like
it does feel like
too much of that to read in a week.
A lot of the stories have a kind of sub-headline that suggests there's a mystery or turns out.
They are not literary fiction. They are a lot of genres. There's a Western. They're all kind of adventure, action-packed stories of the kind that would have been in the pulps. I think there's one set in the world of jockeys. There's a serialized one that I was able to catch up on because it gives you the story so far about a washed-up screen actor who finds his way into a mansion in the Hamptons. Seems like kind of a Gatsby-like setup, but maybe it's more of a mistaken identity crime thing.
Here's a whole section of Bringing Up Father, the comic strip.
Yeah, this story section has comics, but I think this is it's big. This is 24 pages or something. And that would have just been part of your week of Grit, which also would have had some very gentle, it would have national news. It would be like, President Hoover went to the doctor and, the DAR had a concert and, it would have actual news, but it wouldn't have, say, crime stories or social ills, really. It doesn't really ever have a political take. Hand me the Carter era one.
This sidebar here has a bunch of ads, and it gives you a sense of...
Aren't those all kind of patent medicines?
Well, it's like...
Are your kidneys tired?
You can order a cactus or a gladiolus or a blue spruce. You can get chicks, like baby chickens.
Okay. That's
you can get...
Not what I thought you meant.
You can get yarn. There's an ad here to raise guinea pigs.
There's I think there's a whole page of patterns, advertisement for patterns that mom could send away. Oh, no, that's in this one.
Here's one,
that's
$7 for tombstones. Get a tombstone for $7.
But there's whole pages there of kind of medical ones, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's one about hemorrhoids, I think. It's before you cut your piles, try this. I'm like, oh, don't cut your piles. It's going to bleed.
Ouch.
The 70s one has Archie. This if I showed you this, you would...
Sluggish kidneys. Do you have sluggish kidneys?
I hope not. If I showed you this, you would not think this was Jimmy Carter was president, because there's here's a comic about Roy Rogers.
Right.
And, here's
so it's good, clean fun.
Yeah. Lost pet volunteers find homes for needy families. And I don't know if these are getting taken off the wire and then just rewritten. I mean, some of them are obviously national columns that they've subscribed to, but they must have a whole staff in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, kind of writing.
Just on the AP?
Yeah, just writing human interest stories. The news stuff is kind of all summarized here on page 2. And you keep in mind, if you're actually hearing about this stuff for the first time from Grit magazine, why don't you have a television? Like Cambodia, the Soviet Union sent military advisors, tank crews, and materiel to Vietnam last year. But this is stuff you would have heard from Walter Cronkite a week ago by the time Grit arrives.
Now, is any of this like Christian coded?
I was wondering that, and it is not particularly. Like, even as rural coded as you think it's going to be, like, well, that's who's buying this stuff. I mean, and it is about a pigeon in a hayloft. There's really not a lot of, there's no culture war of any kind. Part of it is because Reagan is not president yet, and there is no religious right.
But it would have seemed like even at any time in American history, there would have been a kind of, or an opportunity for there to be like a moral note at the end of the articles, like, that's why boys should always eat their cereal and be true to Jesus.
Well, this is actually, I just said there was no religion or culture war. Missionary in Rhodesia has no time for beating swords into plowshares.
Why not?
This Texas Baptist is fighting nationalist guerrillas in Rhodesia. So, like, this is literally some white mercenary from a quote missionary
fighting in Rhodesia.
I guess mercenary and missionary have pretty much three syllables in common. But it's also this: young violin virtuoso mixes wiffle ball with giant talent. So it's more human interest than anything else. A lot of puzzles for kids to do. People are sending in my funniest moment. That's a recurring column.
Oh, my funniest moment.
Here's a not particularly funny story by a teacher who, for some reason, he's tired of his class packing up their bags before the bell rings. So as soon as the noise starts, he says they all have to sit down and write an essay for him on the accounts of a baseball game. And the smartest kid in the class immediately turns in his paper and leaves. And he opens the paper and it says, "Game called on account of rain."
Lol.
Oh, that never happened, buddy. Listen, John Kernut, retired teacher from Barnard, Missouri. That never happened. There's a whole column called Coin Roundup about people writing in their questions about collectible coins.
Yep.
I mean, this is basically John Roderick culture.
Yep.
This is not Bible weirdos.
Nope. I was showing my daughter my coin collection the other day, and she was like, "You can't be serious."
Like, how many of these could just be things that you have said in a conversation? Garage conversion adds economical living space. Land trusts save wide open spaces.
Yeah.
Mug collection reflects history.
Oh my God.
Like literally every story on this page. Modern connectors simplify installation of gutters.
Yes.
Like, you are the core subscriber, I think, for, but it's also a little bit timely. It's like, should we take nitrates out of bacon? Here's this professor says, maybe luncheon meat should have nitrates.
Some say yes, some say no.
They're teaching the controversy in Grit.
Rhodesia was a big topic in 1978.
They have peanuts. They have the jumble. So, like, maybe the idea is rural people, if you live in the city, you get this in your paper.
Yeah.
Your option your small town paper might suck if you're living 100 miles outside of Topeka or Fort Wayne.
I wonder at that time, was it hard to get NBC News for some people?
Like, could rabbit ears get, there were probably, like, I remember well into my lifetime, small towns having really good video stores because people didn't have, they weren't running cable out there, you know? So I think it's possible.
It's just Time Magazine, but
there were small town papers, but they were bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they were not bad, but it was just like clearly like an old guy and his wife putting this thing together every week.
Right.
And like, it's kind of interesting. So over the years, so their whole advertising campaign was never about Grit, but they could have just said, it's a regular paper and it's kind of for farms. Like in 1950, 36% of Americans still lived in rural areas.
But I don't see in either of these copies a ton of like fertilizer ads.
No, it was never that. And that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. Like, here's where you buy your seed.
Right.
Here's, why aren't your beets so big this year? Well, here's what you're doing wrong. But that's coming. Grit started to hit on hard times. The turnover in their sales staff was the hard part because, you had to be 12 to 14. By 14, kids would kind of slough off anyway because they realized they could get a job flipping burgers.
Right. And then the next year they're 15.
And then they won't do anything.
Yeah, right. But kids keep aging out.
Right.
Even the top sellers.
Right. And they age out into places where they can make, they're no longer, whoa, I can make $8 a week if I just guilt grandpa and Uncle Harry into buying grit every week. Which
Well,
is
by
probably a lot of what was happening.
Like 12-year-olds were smoking weed.
Yeah. 12-year-olds looked a little different. So they opened it up to girls in a fit of desperation.
What?
They started to call their sellers young merchants instead of, hey, boys.
Girls can't do this kind of heavy lifting.
And it turned out they could every bit as well, but it just still wasn't sustainable. And in the early 80s, in conjunction with a sale, the Lamity family finally sold it first to a Connecticut direct mail firm, which then sold to a Topeka-based media company, which then got bought out by a larger regional company that owned 20 TV stations and 8 radio stations. You know how this works.
Yeah. Pretty soon it was owned by Monsanto.
In 1982, they eliminated their whole business model that they'd had since the 19th century of young street urchins going door to door.
And then what? Because they never sold it. I never
mail
sold
subscriptions.
It wasn't on newsstands.
It was never on newsstands at that time. And they had big plans. They were like, you know what? We're going to have 1 million subscribers next year. Life's never been better for grit. In fact, it turned out your nephew guilting you into buying grit every week for 50 cents was the secret sauce. Mm-hmm. And as soon as, does this say what it costs? It was 35 cents under Carter. Boy, probably more by the time he got out of office. Am I right?
Well, but the daily newspaper was only 15 cents.
Yeah, exactly.
At that time.
And this is a nice thick thing.
Yeah,
like you would read this for a week. It never recovered. It was never a success with mail subscriptions. Like without kids to pressure friends and neighbors, it didn't work. And of course, the media landscape was changing.
Yeah, sure.
You could get a bunch of magazines that would replace grit. And
people were maybe more cynical then and less, probably grit didn't cover Watergate in very much depth.
That was the whole problem. Ringing the joy bells of life probably got harder and harder into the 80s and 90s. In 1995, the grit IP was bought by Ogden Publications, and which is the publication that puts out the company that puts out Mother Earth News. Are you aware? We've talked about this kind of cultural movement. It's rural, but it's not particularly. It's kind of crunchy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of recycling and, ecology in it, but also independence. Right. So it's like,
Whole Earth catalog.
Exactly. It's like we can get preppers and hippies.
Yeah.
We can get heppers.
Heppers. Preppies.
Preppies. I didn't know this, but Ogden Publications also puts out the Utney Reader.
Oh.
Which is,
That used to be a real marker of how smart you were.
Sure.
You get the Utney Reader
Which is just
read it.
Reprinting stuff from zines and weeklies for a glossier audience. They were biweekly at the time. I think they had gone from weekly to biweekly. They went to monthly. And in 2006, they became this kind of glossy, perfect bound magazine.
Although small, it's thinner.
Right. And it's monthly now. And now it is straight up just Mother Earth news. It's what it never was explicitly before, celebrating rural America since 1882. This is for you small town folks. And the cover stories in this issue are off-season farmland, how to profit in winter. But it's not all like even though you get this at Tractor Supply, it is not all farming stuff. It's also like forage for feral foods, edible wild plants, winter squash, growing tips and recipes, small scale grain, DIY hot tub. There is kind of a lot of DIY, back to nature kind of vibe here.
Well, it's interesting because the splash page for grit.com, the big article is how to run a home antique business. And then
that's how you know farms are failing.
There are 4 different articles about livestock auctions. How not to act in the sale barn.
Oh boy. Like everybody who's ever made a faux pas in the sale barn.
Oh my God. You didn't say that, did you? Then there's a list of autumn auctions, then cattle auction, terminology and tips. And then the best article, I think, by Carrie Rideout is dickering. Negotiate the best price for used farm equipment.
The lost art of dickering. I mean, I'm looking at the ads in this print magazine from a few years ago, and it's not there's not a lot of kind of crazy Fox News seeming ads. It really is just like you're a farmer, but maybe not that serious. Like you want to have chickens at home.
Yeah.
What if you started freeze drying? What if you bought one of those mushroom logs?
Yeah, it's a farmer who lives in Fremont.
Yeah, exactly. And there's really not a lot of like, you need to buy gold because, it's going to hit the fan.
Yeah, no, I see here, easy Native American recipes.
Oh,
That's an interesting thing that you never really hear about.
they appear to have a mascot named Gritty, who is not the Philadelphia Gritty. He's just kind of a goofy Mr. Zip looking guy who tells you how to
Hey, Gritty,
how to help your soybean yield.
how to weave a square basket.
Oh, so Grit does still survive, but basically kind of in name only. Like I consider this zombie Grit because Grit was never even about the publication.
Yeah.
It was a business model more than anything else. And I hope there's somebody out there who, like me, wondered what was the deal with Grit.
Well, what's interesting is I don't need to know very much about cattle auctions, but here's an article that tells you how many, what the BTU capacity of different kinds of firewood is. And I'm like, I think about this type of thing all the time. Well, I'm burning this birch, but I also have this cedar, and the cedar's got a lot more heat. And I bet you this article would tell me all about it.
Sounds like Zombie Grit just got a new subscriber. Sell it to your friends, John.
And that concludes Grit, entry 551.PR1004, certificate number 31682 in the omnibus. Futurelings, social media was an unholy trash fire. And
That implies that there are holy trash.
well, yeah, I mean, think about if you're burning Bibles? It's a holy trash fire.
That thing that God-fearing people, holy people always do.
Well, the thing is, if you
Burn a Bible.
if a flag touches the ground, you have to burn it. If a Bible touches the ground, don't you have to burn it?
I feel like I did know odd Mormon farm boys who would not put their scriptures on the floor.
Sure.
Yeah, because if I was in bed, like if I didn't want to get out of bed, but I was supposed to be studying the Bible, I would just set it down by the bed. And I remember one guy being like,
You can't do that. Get your Bible off the floor.
Does the flag code really apply to the Bible? Unclear.
Well, anyway, we disavow social media, and yet we contribute to Facebook and Instagram at Omnibus Project. Fans of the show congregate on Reddit, Discord, Facebook, and elsewhere under the group Sobriquet Futurelings.
Sobriquet.
Yes.
Sobriquet?
Would you say sobriquet? No, surely not.
I looked this up the other day just to say it on Jeopardy, the least weird way, and I think it's sobriquet.
Sobriquet?
Is dictionary preferred.
Oh my God.
But you're right, I had always said sober because it sounds like charcoal briquette. That's why we say it.
Well, and also it just seems like, come on, you don't say Perry.
Dictionary prefers sobriquet, but you do say beret. You don't say raspberry beret.
I suppose that's true.
Sobriquet, then ket. Then, wait, what is going on here?
It does feel like sobriquet is the way I would pronounce it, just to annoy people. That's going to be a hard one to change, sobriquet. Although now I see it. Looking at it, it does look like sobriquet.
But it also looks like briquette.
It does.
Oh, I guess the question is whether you say sobriquet, sobriquet, or sobriquet, or sobriquet.
I think it would be sobriquet or sobriquet.
That's sobriquet. It's Raven's sister.
You can look up Futurelings and find them throughout the internet under that search term. And we recommend both the Reddit and the Discord communities. Ken and I both recently visited those communities. I had never even been on Discord, and Reddit I avoided for a variety of reasons until Google started forcing me to go there.
But now you have to because I'm not doing the mail anymore.
Well, but the other thing was I've been kind of composing an email to both of those groups saying, is it weird for me to come on here? I don't want to be bumming you guys out.
You can't, because they can't be like,
John's a dummy.
This show sucks now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't sent that to them yet. But anyway, go there because they're actually fun and funny. You can email us directly, and I highly recommend it. You go to theomnibusproject@gmail.com. I'm continuing to do the addenda program that used to be a lot of work for Ken. And now I'm
Now
realizing
it's zero work for Ken.
it's no work for Ken, and it's a lot of work for me. So I'm still trying to figure it out. I realized reading the letters that you extremely paraphrase them.
Because many are lengthy.
They're very long, and also they don't really often have very much of a question or point at the end.
They're all manifestos.
Yeah, they're just like, hey, Ken and John, I'd like to tell you all about everything.
The main reason I kept up with the mailbox is I was afraid some of those people would just start blowing up federal buildings.
Yeah, right. Or showing up at your house. So the first addenda I tried to do, I did like, I have no idea what's going on. I read all these letters and I don't know where Ken is even coming. You know, you were just ginning up half of those things.
Think how like morally smug I feel sitting at home, not having to do this work, but imagining you doing it.
Yeah.
Boy, I bet John's missing me now.
I do. I was twisting in the wind. I was like, what the hell is an episode number? I'm going to figure it all out, though. So write me at the omnibusproject@gmail.com with a concise email that says something that is intelligible.
Maybe the first sentence should be a summary of what you're about to say.
Well, especially make it easy on me if you're referring to an actual episode. Name the episode. Then I would be a lot better off.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you actually have to know what they're referring to.
Because they're like, yeah, the other day you guys said that butterflies are made out of, and I'm like, I don't remember that. What the hell episode?
There's no
and
way
it turns
I said
out it
that.
was an episode from 4 years ago because they're re-listening to the. You can send us physical mail, postcards, packages, all kinds of talismans, things that used to belong to your grandfather. Right here, I have 2 different coasters that are patches that were sent to us by Futurelings. You can send that care of the Omnibus Project to 609 Southwest 150th Street.
I'm in a parallel universe now.
I know.
This is weird. I've never thought about the new P.O. box
I know.
number.
New P.O. Box 609 SW for Southwest 150th Street, number 48084, Burien, Washington 98166.
The old post box was so Ken coded, and the new one is so John coded.
It was. You're going to keep getting mail, and it sounds like you brought some.
Yeah, I checked the mailbox the other week, and we've been I was going to do some of this in the live show, and then 2 things happened. One, I forgot to bring it, but most importantly, the live show was so long.
Yeah, we went forever.
we were not doing Q&A or anything. The Kentucky Colonels want me to re-up.
Yep. They send me something.
They always send this to Ken Wayne Jennings III. I really feel like with that name, you kind of have to be a Kentucky
That
Colonel.
is a Kentucky Colonel name.
As our great nation prepares to celebrate its 250th anniversary. So yeah, I'll probably give some money to the great state of Kentucky for the good work they're doing.
Mm-hmm. They are a fraternal organization that really gets it done.
Our friend Kevin, I don't know if there was a cover letter. Wait, no, Kevin is the author.
Of the letter or of a book?
Both. Well, I'm trying to see if the author, we each got a copy of Kevin Miller's new book. I presume Kevin is the listener involved here. The 90 Prettiest County Courthouses of Texas and the 10 Ugliest.
Come on.
I am so into this book already.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
This is like what Grit Magazine could have been.
And it's written in a whole variety of fonts, like a bill that might be shellacked on the.
Oh my gosh! Some of these
courthouse.
courthouses are just like Wes Anderson houses.
They're gorgeous.
Look at Caldwell County.
Of course, I want to flip to see the 10 Ugliest.
Yeah, where are the worst ones?
They have to be at the back, right?
Are they?
Well, no, these are all still good-looking courthouses.
Yeah, participation ribbons at the end.
Oh, wait, the Arkansas County Courthouse got torn down. It was in a neo-Orientalist
It's
style.
kind of cool. It looks like looks like some hotel in the 30s where Fatty Arbuckle did something terrible. Yeah, a lot of these are just blocks.
Yeah, well, the Swisher County Courthouse burned, and they kept the bottom couple of stories and just made it into like a 30s looking courthouse. Oh, these are depressing. The ugliest ones are ones that burned.
These were sent by Ryan in Austin, but billed as author copies to Kevin, who I guess is being billed in Amsterdam. Oh, here we go. The twist ending. Kevin left Texas in 2020 to be with his girlfriend in Amsterdam.
Oh, nice.
His girlfriend is marijuana. Thank you. Hash would be funnier. Thank you so much, Kevin. This is great. Or Ryan, whoever. Congrats to Kevin on the new book, and thanks to either Kevin and or Ryan for sending it along.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going right on the coffee table.
And here's a postcard from Southern Maine. Evan sent us a picture of Casco Castle, destroyed by fire in 1914. Boy, Southern Maine had a really elaborate Prince Valiant castle here, didn't it?
Well, that was when the Gilded Age moved from Newport up to Southern Maine.
We would not have Acadia National Park if not for Rockefeller being
right.
afraid of too many neighbors. Thank you so much for all who sent that stuff in. And remember, no more stuff to good old 55744.
Nope,
or
send
else
it.
I have to bring it to John at some point.
Yeah, and every time you come down, I'm going to sit you in that chair and I'm going to make you do an episode. Even if you just come down to hang out, I'm going to be like, ha ha ha, guess what?
I'm going to be like, let's eat lunch somewhere really noisy where you can't make me do Omnibus.
Let's go somewhere really close to my house. Anyway, that's 609 Southwest 150th Street, number 48084, Burien, Washington, 98166. Also, even more so than before, this show is listener supported. So please consider, it was very much before.
I'm no longer listener supported. I'm here given free labor.
Now the millionaire is flying between LA and Seattle on a dirigible and made of like gold leaf. But the rest of us, squirrel monkeys, are here beavering away. So join the community at patreon.com/omnibus project. Membership in that community comes with a treasure trove of perks.
Nice.
Including years and years, 8 years to be exact, of photos, show notes, outtakes, shots that Ken took with his phone. You can see the evolution of cameras on cell phones by the fidelity of the picture.
And like several, 60, 70 addenda shows at this point?
60, 70 addenda shows, each one featuring emeritus co-host Ken Jennings, except for the most recent one, which is just me on my couch in the middle of the night trying to parse what these emails were trying to say. I'm going to have that all figured out next time.
Do you want to have an addenda co-host? Like, are you thinking of bringing someone in for addenda?
I think I need one, and a lot of people have applied for the job.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Despite you not putting out the word? Or is this Grit Magazine? Are you looking for some 12 to 14-year-old boys?
I think a lot of people listened to the addenda and they were like, what he needs is someone else to talk to. Which I think is true, but I don't know.
A lot of them like Dear John letters, so maybe you don't.
And I think maybe I'll just get your brother Nathan in here.
Oh yeah, you're spoiling it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of your sauce, a lot of your spice, but
you're spoiling
not your smug superiority.
You're spoiling the upcoming guest appearance.
I'm not going to use Nathan. I don't need another lawyer around here. God, there's lawyers everywhere.
Maybe you do.
They're in the rafters.
Given some of the things you say on this show.
Also, all Patreon members get early access to weekly episodes on Tuesdays instead of Thursdays. So join patreon.com/omnibus.
Live that Tuesday life. Listeners, from our vantage point here in your distant past, we have no idea how long our civilization survived. We certainly hope and pray, John, that the catastrophe we fear may never come, because the show's still getting better and better.
Better and better.
Hang in there.
Differenter and differenter.
If the worst comes soon, though, this recording, like all our recordings, may be our final word to you. But happy 8th anniversary. If Providence allows,
ding, ding, ding.
We hope to be back with you soon for another entry in the Omnibus.